And hi, everybody. Welcome to Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and hit the thanks button. That's that dollar sign under the screen there, in case you didn't know what that was. A lot of you don't, or else I'd see more money from you. Anyway, welcome. My hair's I don't have much hair left. It always sticks straight up, too. Um, Nobody's here yet, but they will in a minute because I started early. So, all right, we got the algorithm already done. So, I'll give it a minute, let everybody jump in. It's Labor Day. And for those of you watching on replay, and more people do watch on replay than watch live, I guess you live in all different brackets. Um, Thanks for coming, first off. But um, let's see who's first in the queue. Come on, Steve, is it you? Come on, Steve. Let's see. And it is Steve first up. Steve's the best. All right. And happy Labor Day to everybody, especially if you're watching later. Wouldn't know what that's like. I don't think I've ever had Labor Day off per se, football season. And it's been a long time since I've had a Labor Day off. I'll put it that way. But next year, I might have it off, but I won't be getting paid. So what's it matter? We'll see. And hi, Robbie. Thanks for coming. I'm just stalling a couple minutes. Let everybody load in the queues on here. So beautiful day here in Washington. So much to spent most of it downtown, just goofing off doing tour guides kind of stuff. I was at the National Arboretum, which is a great place to visit. Also, the Botanic Gardens and the Capitol in Georgetown. I was kind of all over town today. It was a fun day working on some new material. And speaking of which, if this Saturday is my first tour for Commanders fans, it's 10 a.m. Saturday. I know a lot of you are from out of the area, so you can't come. But those of you in town, if you would like to, you can go to monumentalthoughts.com and register. It's $25 for the tour, which is we're going to do Old Town Alexandria. A lot of great stuff. About 90 minutes of walking. And then we're going to go to Bugsy Watson's old pizza place. Bugsy passed away. Used to be Washington Capitol, if you're old enough to remember that. But we'll talk Commanders and eat pizza afterwards. So if you want to come, I will say 2 kids under 12 free. I'm not trying to screw anybody here. This tour normally is $250 when I take people on. So 25 bucks ticket's a great value. It's this Saturday. Like I said, if this one does anything, which we'll see, then I'll do Embassy Row and Lincoln Assassination. But we'll see if anybody comes to this one first. Also, since I'm being a whore and promoting things, promoting things. Um, I also have on YouTube, free to watch, the Sermon Writer, which I just posted today. It's a table read, which means it's the actors reading the play out, sitting around a table. Kind of all shows do this with the scripts, and so you can see something I've worked on. It's a Christian fiction story. I'm hoping to take to the stage. If any of you are big producers out there, so that's also there. And okay, one more thing while we're doing this. Well, if you'd like to contribute to the show, I do appreciate that. It's the dollar sign button under you. All money goes to me. Sometimes it goes to charities, but sometimes it goes to me. And there you go. Hickory Hound, thank you so much. See that, Steve? No, I'm kidding. Steve's been very generous. But if you'd like a copy of, since it's a eve of the season, 100 Things Commanders book, this is mine. I wrote years ago, but it was updated a couple years back. You can go to Monumental Thoughts .com and see how to buy it. It's we'll do 15 bucks shipped and signed from me. You can get it on Amazon if you want, but I won't be able to sign it for that. But if you'd like to, I'm glad to write it down for you and mail it off to you right away. So monumentalthoughts.com for the book, or if you want to go on tour, and or else go to Amazon. If nothing else, hit the thumbs up button. I would appreciate that. Robbie G, thank you so much too. Alex already got his. Great. Thanks. I appreciate it. And hi, Ryan. Okay, so I guess we can talk Commanders now. And the show's over. I ran out of time. Sorry. No. Okay, so we actually had the last few days off. The players did come back today, but the media wasn't allowed to watch them. They're doing walkthroughs. So I haven't really seen them since Thursday. They were off after Thursday afternoon. Coach gave them a few days off to go do whatever and get away from football. And he said, listen, I want you guys to not even think about football. Good luck with that. You've just spent 6 weeks winding the clock, and you're going to need it to stay tight when they come back. But a lot of guys get to go home. even for 2 days, because they haven't seen their family in a while and they won't see them again. The team doesn't have a bye until mid-December. So if you wanted to go do anything, see your family, whatever, this was the weekend to go do it. And so a lot of them did. They have Tuesday off because they always get a day off, although technically they had Sunday off, but whatever. And then Wednesday they start, regular practice, getting ready for the season opener, which is Sunday at Tampa Bay, 4:25. So a little bit different. Mostly 1 o'clock games this year, but not this time. So and here we go. For 17 games, it's amazing how time flies. When you're a kid, time never moves at all. You're bored to death. When you get to be an old man, you just watch the clock spin around, man. It's amazing how fast the time goes. So hoping to enjoy another season. Maybe this one will be better. The Seasons of Discontent podcast we're putting up tomorrow with my buddy Matt, where we go over the predictions and all, and we'll have it here. Predictions. Talking too fast, I guess. Spent a lot of day in the sun. It was a great day in DC though. A lot of tourists still in town. Surprised me. Okay. And A was a cherry tomato one. Yeah, I did a video of my 2 granddaughters who did Dare Club. It's up on YouTube. They love being on YouTube. Otherwise, I wouldn't do this. And a few of you watching, we wanted to see who would eat cherry tomatoes. They had never tried them. I knew I didn't like them. Tomorrow we're doing one with other grandkids too, where I'm doing the zombie apocalypse dry rations you have stored in your house in case all hell breaks loose and we have no food. You'll live for a few more weeks. So I got out something. We all tried it. Went better than I thought on there. So we do some different stuff now and then. Didn't have any pizza videos up this time. Different food, different stuff. Okay, like what I said in the post about creating a brotherhood via Robbie G. Well, it's okay, but that's as I said in the video, that's a buzzword for chemistry. It's just Dan Quinn's got some different buzzwords than past coaches, which is fine. He's saying the same thing now, which is not going to be easy. You got 31 new players, which is the most turnover in a single season since 1945. I think it's 58.5%. And back in the war, they were doing 60%. So same thing. And I don't know. Will there be any more changes on the roster? The 53? I don't think so. Given that they had done it, they would have done it by now. So I kind of doubt it. And if you like a veteran out there, you wait till week 2 to sign them because week 1, if you're a vested veteran, 4 years or more, your season's contract is guaranteed if you're on the opening day roster. So a lot of teams wait until the second week, and then they don't have that guarantee. If they bring in a guy and then cut him 2 weeks later, that's all it is. Week 1, you got to live with 17 paychecks on the guy. So you don't want to burn cap money. So that's a little bit about what's going on there too. Let's see. Alex says Diami, as I always say his name wrong, Diami posted doing drills while they were off saying he needed it. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people did. They're just staying in touch. Like I said, if the clock's wound that tight, it's kind of hard to let it go. VP, I didn't watch LSU had a bad loss. I didn't watch a minute of college football. I listened to a few minutes of Maryland in their mighty victory. But I took the weekend off too of football. I haven't really had the TV on much at all in the last few days, which is a little unusual for me. Marcus, I agree with you. I like September. Today was the first decent day in Washington. Like yesterday was 77, but the humidity was in the 90 percentile. It was still hot and sweaty. Today was nice. And that's what I love about September, October in Washington. It's the best weather of the year. So today was one of them. Marcus don't like cherry tomatoes either. Yeah, I'm not a cherry tomato guy. Not a tomato guy particularly. Although I like applesauce and tomato sauce and pizza and all the things my brother used to tease me about. But he was a big jerk. So I have a big brother too. Not bigger than me, smaller. Thank God. Hickory Hound saw where ESPN. Ooh, he doesn't like ESPN. Has a simulation that predicts a 5-12. You can't tell me it would be the same or worse in the last few years. I kind of agree with you there. But sometimes you're a better team, but you don't win more games because the schedule changes every year. And sometimes you can have last year might have been an easier 4-13 challenge and they just lost them. This year it's going to be I think it's a tougher schedule. And so they could win 5 or 6 games but be a much better team. Not fair, much better team. Not fair, kind of sucks, but They do have a tough one. They have the AFC North division. That's a tough one. But I think they can win 7. I think the over-under in most places is 5 or 6 in the books. But I think they'll do a little better than people think. I think this offense will be better. It's the question to me is 2 things. One, are the offensive tackles going to be able to be decent? And 2, can the secondary, hold tight? That's the key of the season more than anything. Let's see. Joel thinks, is this team Super Bowl 5 years down the road? Well, the thing with saying 5 years down the road is there's nobody on this team hardly left. And the way cycles go, 5 years, you flipped almost your whole team. It's kind of strange. You have a few key guys. That's about it. So you have to really say 4 or 3 if you're thinking about these guys. I think they could be in a Super Bowl in 3, 4 years if things go right. The draft was, I think, decent this year. So that will help. All right. Hicker says ESPN simulation has the Vikings as the worst team of football. Ooh. Well, it didn't help if they lost their quarterback already. Been there. VP, defensive player flying under the radar to start the season. You're going with Chin. Chin's going to be good. And Frankie Louvu is going to, I think, be good on there. Let's see, under the radar. I think those are the 3 guys that you would really look at there. Alex, it seems like DQ and Cliff really emphasizing blocking as an attribute for that. Yeah, for tight ends and receivers. Because those guys can make a difference of a play being 8 yards or 18 yards, If your receivers won't block downfield, and I think that was one of Dotson's problems. We saw it in the preseason. You as a receiver, a lot of them are divas. They want balls. They don't want to block. But if you got some guys are really good at it, you can make a big difference in a team. And you can be a 40 catch guy and be worth it the same thing as an 80 catch guy if you're making those blocks downfield to spring big gains to people. So they're looking at Tech V wants me to admit I'm never going to retire. I'm not going to retire from working per se, but will I be doing this forever? No, but we'll talk about that another day. Let's see. Traveling aliens back. Okay. Football season. That's what it is. Oh, man, I've been playing with the soccer ball all day. I want to know why people looked at me weird. Notice Ted Lasso is getting made again. Love Ted Lasso. I covered a lot of Ted Lassos, but it's a cool show. Let's see. Who will be the player of the game on Sunday in the Commanders game? Well, I don't think they're going to have much luck in this game. But if I had to say I'd say Zach Ertz. That'd be my offensive MVP out of this game, Zach Ertz. I think Ertz and Eckler did not come here to watch. They didn't come here to mentor. They came here to kick somebody's butt. And those guys are going to have good seasons. I didn't see Bobby Wagner as much in the off-season, preseason camps kind of thing. And I'm not sure why I didn't notice him. I don't take that as a bad thing. It's just how it worked out. But I know Ertz and Eckler come here to show themselves. So watch for those guys. If you can get fantasy guys, I'd take Ertz before I take Eckler just because of chances and opportunities. But Ertz could be a decent fantasy pick for you guys. And I don't know anything about fantasy ball, but I don't gamble. I don't play fantasy ball. I stay a purist in football. Sorry. Because a lot of players I've heard talk about how fans are heckling them and yelling at them because you lost my bet. And the players really don't like that. And I said, took the money as part of your contracts. That's how this is going to go. Gambling is going to ruin the sport. In 20 years from now, I really worry the NFL won't be what it is because of the gambling. But they took the money, so way it goes. Okay, let's see. John, hopefully with the new staff and players and work ethic, the ability to finish games will be much improved. Well, yeah, let's hope the fourth quarter isn't a disaster. But let's hope the first and second quarters aren't disasters. Last year, they were screwed before it got started. It's got to be better this year. Noah Brown expectations, VP. I have none. I know they signed him today, but I have no expectations there. Okay, Marcus. 49ers received block. Okay. 49ers receivers block well. Yeah. So that's a good thing. Cliff Kingsbury is on him. Alex, do you think Daniels makes it through all 17 games healthy? Well, I'll just say let's hope so. I mean, I can't predict anything. I don't want to predict no and have him get hurt. I wouldn't want that. But how many guys last year made it all 17 games? Sam was one of them. I think it was like six, something like that. 6 or 8 guys were the only, out of 32 that made it all the way through. It's not easy, especially these extra games. Hi, Daniel. Glad to see you made it. Marcus is listening to me about Echo Nerds. Traveling alien, play fantasy football for fun, not for money. Okay, good. I don't know. I don't have the interest enough to do it. I have people all the time say, "Come on, do my fantasy league." No. Do I like the new kickoff rule, Robbie? Not particularly, but it's something different. I know some okay preseason. Got to make it back to my seat in time to watch the kickoffs. You have like that inner clock. You're so used to it being certain time, and it's like, oh man, I got to get back to that kickoff already. That was kind of crazy. That happened to me a couple of times. So it'd be interesting. We didn't see much about the kickoff, really. You didn't see the real schemes that are going to happen. I think it could be interesting in September, and then everybody's figured it out. But would I rather stay with the original? Yeah, but that's just me being old. Okay, Daniel, would you say we should be more concentrated on our defensive line or offensive line? Um, it's kind of like two sides of the same coin, to be honest. But I'd say more concerned with the offensive line. How will the secondary survive the season? D Fields ask. It's going to be. I think that's where everybody's going to attack them. Not so much up front. They're not going to attack the middle like they did last year as much because now you have a real linebacker core. I noticed Jamin Davis is now listed as defensive end, which kind of strange, but okay. I guess that's the only place they can find to play them. So they're going to go after the corners. The safeties aren't bad. So the corners are who they're going to go for. And it's St. Juice, I think, is very average. And Forbes, I'm not sure. Forbes had a better preseason. He's bulked up a little bit, just a little bit, but it's something. He's learned, I think he's learned a lot, but he still has a ways to go. But it is, at least he's trending up, I think. So let's give him another year and see, before say, forget it. I mean, Adam Peters kept this. They only kept 12 out of 33 Ron Rivera draft picks. They're still left on the team. That's quite a purge. All right, Alex, what different things do you see special teams doing with the new kickoffs? Well, what I think they're going to do is use a lot more tight ends and guards, and so they can use quick guys that are used to pulling and blocking, and sweeping a certain way. And I think that's going to be the constant is, try and do a quick punch and maybe you get them through that initial line and then it's a long game. There'll be some of that, not a lot, but I think that's where you're going to see much more agility and lateral quickness that's going to be played into that. So Travel Man's already seen what I talk about. They'll break some, but after a while, everybody's going to figure this out and neutralize it. They're going to play some of the guys off the line. They're going to play them back some maybe. So and some of the off team receiving the ball is going to be playing not everybody on the line either. They're going to bring some back to try and block for it. How much patience would Josh Harris have with Dan Quinn? Asked RJ. This year, fine. This year he'd like to be better, but he's not worried about it. Next year, that's a different story. The man doesn't wait forever for people to have, no 5-year plans with Josh Harris. You're going to have to do better. Who'll be calling the games? Well, VP. On the radio, it's London Fletcher. Bram Weinstein, of course, does the play-by-play. And then Logan Paulson will also be in the booth this year and say goodbye to some of them last year's. Who am I thinking of? The blonde woman. For some reason, I can't remember her name at the top of my head. But she's gone. So I guess you could really say that Paulson is replacing her. And Paulson knows his stuff. It says London and Bram, but I mean, Paulson really is a good analyst. So if you're listening on radio, it'll work out well. I do miss Sonny Sam and Frank too. Broadford. No, I didn't say that right. Broad J. Ford. Harris says patient with coaches, but for how long will you let Doc hang around? Talking about Doc Walker, or is there another Doc I don't know about? He doesn't really control that. So if you're talking about Doc Walker, it's funny. I asked Doc Walker during the springtime. Somebody asked me how Doc Walker got his nickname. And I said, I don't know, because I covered Doc as a player. And I asked him, Doc's laugh. He says there were three Ricks, because that's his name, Rick Doc Walker. And as a Rick, we're about the same age. And in our classroom, yeah, we all had, two other Ricks in our classes. He said the same thing back then. Now nobody names their kid Rick. I don't know why. Not even my grandsons. And he said Gibbs just kind of called him Doc because he had Ricky Sanders or Ricky Irvins and forget the other Rick offhand, but he said he just named him Doc out of, for who knows what reason, and that's why he's Doc Walker. All right, Karush wants to know how good will Luke McCaffrey be? Didn't have the preseason I expected it, but I would not say that's a negative. I just don't think it was quite fell that way. I think he can still be their fourth leading receiver overall. I think Ertz is number two after Terry, and is Brown the third or is McCaffrey the third? I'm not sure in terms of number of catches, but they'll be about even there. Okay, buzzword NFL 24 is pound the rock. Well, Marcus, we're back to running the game again. When you live long enough, you see everything go around, comes around, or if it comes around, it goes around, whatever. Everything comes back, even fashion. Like players now wear bucket hats, those, things it used to be my father or grandfather, that generation back wore those bucket hats. And they've been gone really since the 70s, max. If you're wearing one in the 70s, it's my grandfather wearing it. Now suddenly it's the cool thing again. That's the weirdest thing I look at. Because you guys are wearing a hat that's like 50 years old. My generation thought it was stupid. Two more generations of them. God, I'm almost old enough to be everybody's grandfather. Ooh, it's ugly. Okay, Alex. Do you see Forbes being used in the return game? No, I don't think so. I don't think they'll go with a starter as that way. Matt, maybe bring in RG3. Yeah, okay. RG3 is getting old now. It's been 12 years since he was drafted. I know he hasn't played in a few, but he's not coming back on there. All right. Daniel says Tom Brady going to be part of the commentating team this season? Yes. I saw big stories where they're going to limit his access because he's trying to be a Raiders owner, and that would give him inside info on other teams, and they don't want him to do that. So that's really interesting. But they've held off trying to approve Brady as owners, part owner of the Raiders. I don't know. The NFL playing some games there. Hickory, Mariota can play well if needed. Well, didn't see him the whole preseason. Watched him in practices. I'd say it was uneven. Practices, some days were good, some days weren't. That's kind of been his career, really. So if they need him, I think he'll be okay. Be a veteran there. Hickory is talking about Doc. Oh, I'm sorry, Doc Rivers, 76ers. Okay, sorry, wrong Doc. I don't think about when you say names. I'm thinking Washington, not another team. Yeah, Doc Rivers, I think had a decent. I don't know a whole lot about 76ers. They had a decent team, right? Didn't go. I mean, Harris is not impulsive like Dan Snider was, firing coaches at one time. Dan flipped a lot of coaches early. Although Spurrier was not fired, he quit. But Harris, I don't think he's real worried about this right now. My mother's turning 80 this November. Oh, damn. Okay. My mom's older than yours. My mom's tougher, too. Let me tell you. All right, Matt. RG3 for Commander's commentary. Yeah, I know. I was kidding you. Well, I'd say this. I've heard Robert do commentary, and I think he's good. Obviously knows what he's talking about. Sometimes he talks about crazy stuff, but away from things. But I mean, as far as football goes, he knows what he's talking about. That would be interesting, but Robert's always a lightning rod wherever he goes. I'm not sure that's what they want. Matt, will the Wizards ever be good? I guess the year after I die, because when I was a kid, I watched them and they were great in the 70s. They went to 4 finals, lost 3 of them, but they did win 1. So I have seen the Wizards win a title as the Bullets. But man, this year doesn't offer me any hope either. They get high picks and still I'm not thrilled with whatever I see. Supernova. How much playing time will Ben Snow get against the Bucks? He's after Ertz, but how many snaps? 15. I'll just throw that number out there as a guess. RG3 is not a fan favorite. Would not say that, man. There's a lot of people that love Robert, really are, and there's a lot of them that hate him. He's a real lightning rod for that. But there's plenty of RG3 fans in the area, and I don't take a side on that. Gregory, did Josh spend enough in free agency? I think they spent enough for what they could get. They didn't throw away stupid money. You have to remember the man's only got so much cash. He also spent 74 million, I think, on the stadium. So you only have so much cash you can do. And you don't want to spend it on pricey free agents in these first couple of years when you're not going to really contend. Save that money for when 2-3 years from now your quarterback's ready, and then you can do it. Daniel, I would not bet your mom could definitely kick my mom's butt. Well, my mom could kick your mom's butt and anybody else you want to throw in the ring. My mom was a school cafeteria lady. Okay. You want me to expand? You know what those women were like? Tough. My parents were Great Depression kids, and neither of them even had electricity. Okay. So, my mom's Christmas was getting an orange from the relief people, they called them back then. An orange. That's what she got for Christmas. So my mom didn't hear no whining out of me. Okay, Alex. Could Shaman be utilized as a stand-up linebacker? I think they're going to really keep him more over on the defensive end side. I think that's what they've decided to try and make their stand with him there. And if it doesn't work, then he's gone. What do I think the weakest link of the team is? Traveling alien. It's either offensive tackle, especially right side, or cornerback. So I'm going to say right. I'll say right tackle at this point. Hollywood, hoping Dan Quinn is not Norv Turner 2.0. I covered Norv too. Yeah, it's kind of weird how you see him bringing in people. What's the thought on every Heisman winner the Redskins have drafted been best? Can I name them all? Maybe, but I'd have to sit here and think about it. And we're doing quick stuff here, man. I can't spit all that out. I was looking at Eddie LeBaron's record, by the way. I really didn't know much about Eddie LeBaron. He was a first-round quarterback for this team. I think he was in the 50s. And I think I was a decorated war veteran and came here after the war and was here a few seasons and then went on to have a great career in a lot of different ways, including being general manager of Atlanta Falcons. But look up Eddie LeBaron on Wikipedia. It's really impressive. One of the quarterbacks they took that people don't notice. They have drafted 11. Well, now Jaden would be the 12th first round quarterback. And haven't gotten a lot out of it. Sammy Ball, yes. Okay. But since Sammy Ball, the next one was RG3. As far as great players, not Sammy wasn't the Heisman winner. RG was. The list is, it's kind of funny. JD will be the 36th quarterback to start for this team since the Super Bowl last time out. And if he has a halfway decent game, I could put him at 11 just off his first game because that's how bad the list is. First 10, there were some decent, okay guys, but if he has a halfway decent season, he moves in somewhere between 5 and 10 right away. Easy. Alex, my mother-in-law is a school cafeteria lady from a small town, West Virginia. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. And, you've eaten your share of tater tots too. I still can't eat tater tots. After eating them all that time as a kid. Marcus, plans for game week. Everything's up to date. Well, I'm going to be covering stuff every day. I'll have something, but I won't spend all day, every day out there because I don't get paid that way anymore. I'm a columnist and I, throw in the news where I can. So, I'll have at least one every day up to game day and then after the game and all that. So, you tend to get a bit off of me. You tend to get a dozen or so videos a week on the Commanders right now. And we'll see how it goes from there. What's my prized Washington memorabilia collection from the years? It's not in this side of the house, or I would get it. I don't really have much for memorabilia because I, I'm not a things guy. Growing up, kind of on the edge of poor, didn't have a lot of money. Things don't make me happy, so I don't have a lot of that. I have stuff behind me on there, some books and this and that. But my prize would probably be the sweatshirt they gave away for RFK's closing day, and it actually still fits me. So um, it's pretty cool. I only wore it once. Took it and kept it on a hanger in my closet. I have no idea what it's worth. I probably could get $50 out of one of y'all, but why would I do that? The only jersey I have, someone a couple years ago gave me a jersey for Christmas. It was three, Mark Mosley, who was one of my favorite players, and signed by Mose. So that's the only jersey. I don't have balls or the footballs or anything like that. Um, if I was on death row, it would be my last meal. That was my question the other day, Matt. I guess so. I did. I'd have pizza. Have I'd have a deep dish sausage with extra cheese, which would probably make me die anyway. So maybe I'd die on the way to death row. The electric chair. That'd be funny. Okay. I mean, who wants to do that? Jeremy, what do you think of the Commanders adding Kadarius Tony? I don't think it moves the needle on that. Zargus, how do you feel about Snow and McCaffrey? I think both of them will be good. McCaffrey will be better than I anticipated when I saw them draft them. I'd say the same thing for the other guy too, Ben. They both have looked good in training camp, off-season camps. They look to be smart guys. They understand what's going on right away, which is hard. In the NFL, your first year, I don't care if you're the quarterback or the ball boy or a reporter. Your first year, you're just trying to hang on and not look stupid because everything keeps going fast, and there's so much that can come out of nowhere for everybody. It takes a year to feel comfortable. That's why chemistry and the brotherhood and all that is so important. You heard a lot about Quinn and Peters talking a lot about team over talent. That's really another buzz for chemistry, which means we don't want to bring in some really good player who is a big pain in the butt and would disrupt this locker room greatly. That's basically what they're saying. What will we do with all the money saved this year? I asked Ross. Buy a boat, man. Get a bigger yacht. Now, I think they seem to be reinvesting it in both the stadium itself because they don't figure to be out of there till 2030, more or less. So they're trying to make the place nicer. Got a whole new row of duct tape up. Now, they've done a lot of cosmetic changes. These things cost money. The place I didn't realize how bad the place had fallen apart under Snider. He just cashed out and got that boat, I guess. How long is Ertz out for? I didn't know Ertz was out, Francis. They just added a two-time Pro Bowler on special teams. Well, okay. Yeah, but whatever. Let's see. Matt, who was your favorite president before JFK? Wow. I just saw the movie Reagan to sidestep your question there. I would say Teddy Roosevelt, by the way. Maybe Teddy over George. And then my family is the assassin John Wilkes Booth, so I can't say Lincoln because we shot him. But I like Teddy a lot. Teddy said, "Dream big, America. Dream big. We can be a world power," and he was right. So I like that about him. But I do like. I wasn't a big Reagan fan. I was 20 years old when Reagan was elected. Voted against him. I didn't like his fiscal policies. He had his blemishes here and there. But I would say this about Ronald Reagan: he was a good and decent man who meant well. And I wish I could always say that about recent things. But I like Reagan's intents were good. So the movie's decent. I didn't see any factual problems. If you want to take your kid to go see it, just for historical purposes to show it, especially the shooting in D.C., which they didn't make graphic, but I saw that was very accurate. I thought they did a great job for that. On there, favorite president of all time is probably Teddy, but I did like LBJ too. He was kind of a cool guy. Let's see, Gregory, are you surprised at Josh's timeline 2030? A little. I thought it was going to be more like 2028. So, one, they're kind of waiting on that Senate thing to clear up, which I don't think is going to happen. Not by the end of the year. That'd be a miracle. And that just gets things going. But if they have to wait another year, that's the max they're waiting. Meanwhile, they're designing the stadium and all that. A lot of people ask me about presidents because I do live in DC. But if you'd like, I wrote a book called Presidential Pours this year. It's all every president's favorite. It's got all the pictures and all that, but every president's favorite drink. Although a few of them are sober guys. So you can get it on Amazon or you can get it at Monumental Thoughts at monumentalthoughts.com. I tell you what, we'll do this one tonight. $10, signed and sealed and shipped. So that's a bargain because you know what? It cost me $5 almost to ship these things now. Mail went up, so I'm just giving it to you. I'll make I don't know. I guess I'll make $1 or 2 off of it. Gee, don't want to make any money on hard work, but anyway, it might be this is my 10th book, I think. So it's a fun read. It has some recipes and different stuff. So if you go to Monumental Thoughts, it'll show you how to pay on Venmo or PayPal, and I'll mail it out to you tomorrow or inside. So can't beat that deal. $10 for this one and 15 for this one. I tell you what, we're selling the move. Buy them both for $20. You can't beat that. $20 both books. Like I said, go to monumentalthoughts.com. It'll show you how to pay for them on Venmo or PayPal. 20. If you don't want it for $20, hit the thumbs up button. If nothing else, you cheapos. And I would appreciate that. And if you see the $ under and you want to contribute, I do appreciate it because this is an hour out of my life just for you. But I try not to be a full-time charity. Okay, here we go. A random Carlisle camp story, Alex. It's funny. They used to have give players bikes. This is more in the 80s and 90s, early 90s. So players had bikes to ride from the dorms over to Carlisle Field, which was, if you had to walk it, I guess 10 minutes. If you're riding a bike, it'd be about 2 or 3. And guys like Grimm would always grab bikes and run them up the flagpole. You'd look up, there's a bike up there. There you go. There's one. That's worth $1, Alex. Throw that in the pot here for me. Traveling alien. The stadiums was all messed up. Yeah, more so than I guessed. I don't wander through the whole stadium. They did say they're not doing Sean Taylor. They got rid of that Sean Taylor stupid thing. I don't know what they did with it, but it's gone. And to me, I really think they need to have some people come in and consult about which statues do you use. And I did a video on that earlier this week. To me, okay, if you want Sean Taylor, but I would put 4 statues on each corner for starters. And I would even have a park of statues too. So maybe we're talking 10 guys. But my 4 corners would be Sammy Ball, Sonny Jurgensen, Darryl Green, and and Bobby Mitchell. And people go, what about Gibbs? I'm like, okay, I forgot. Gibbs is the coach. So Gibbs, but Ray Flaherty had 2 victories, had 2, championships before he left to go be part of World War II. People forget Ray Flaherty. I talked to him once, died in 94, interviewed him in 93. Was not a nice guy. He was old. He didn't like me. Matt, is my book on Amazon? Yes, it is. You won't get it signed though. And it'll cost you more than I'm offering you, but it is there. What city do I think gets an NFL team next? Ooh, Alex. Well, if we're talking Europe, because I think the next expansion includes Europe, which would be London. They're talking about 2 teams in London. One in Germany. Man, Germans love NFL football. Maybe one in Spain. I don't see one down in South America, even though I know they're playing down there. Opening week, they're just trying to, open up new markets. NFL loves new markets, man. When we colonize Mars, they'll have something there. So London, I say, is the next team. But if you're talking in the U.S., St. Louis should be. But is there hard feelings from that whole relocation payoff on the Rams? That could block them. And Gregory hopes they don't use the old stadium drawings of Snider. It had a moat in it. I mean, that was the stupidest thing. That was classic Bruce Allen. Should have put a link in my description in chat. Okay, well, alien. Let me do it again. So if you would like to buy the books, monumentalthoughts.com. You go there and it would tell you how, I don't like to do a lot of stuff because of scammers, see stuff, then they want to go get it, and try and cause problems with pay. They try and break into your PayPal or Venmo. So that's why I don't put them here anymore because I've already had hackers try it. So just go there and then it'll just say very quickly, you'll see through books for sale, whatever. It'll show you right there how to do it. About how many Jaden Daniels design runs do I expect to call a game? Mm, two. Put that as the over under. They don't want him to do it because they know what can happen. Tell you the best slide. Jaden talks about he doesn't really slide. I saw Marcus Mariota slide one day in practice right in front of me. It was beautiful. I mean, you look for second base. This thing was so great on the grass. So he should be able to teach Jaden how to do this. I was impressed. That was a really nice slide. Nothing else, I would tell Jaden, don't get hit near the sideline. Get out past the sideline. That's really where Robert's career ended, was a sideline tackle where he dislocated his ankle. That's really what hurt him more than anything, I think, even more than the knee. Okay, Gregory, will Jaden be able to uh, call plays like like Tom Brady did from scrimmage? Well, they would rather he not. I mean, they're paying Cliff to call plays, so you know, JD does it. What do you need Cliff for? Um, but he'll be able to opt out here and there. Yeah, they're not going to bench him if he doesn't do it. That was a big one between Terry Robisky and Jeff George. They're in the hallway. They've done the first. Norv got fired. Terry becomes interim coach. There's 3 games left to go. They get beaten Pittsburgh in one of them. I forget which one it was. But afterwards, then like a couple days later, I'm at the park, and Jeff George and Terry Robisky are in a FU battle in the hallway. Both of them were good cussers. Where do you think I learned this from? And and Terry was really mad at Jeff George had changed the plays before they left the bench. He was going out there and said, "Screw those, we're running mine." And Terry said, "You ain't changing my plays. You're sitting the bench this week." And Jeff said, "Yeah, I'm going to get you fired." And they're like, "Yeah, well, we'll see." And went down to FU, and he did bench him. That's the kind of crazy. I'm just standing there watching the whole thing. They didn't even try and pretend otherwise. So stuff like that does happen. Okay, Alex, remember the story of Pete Carroll bringing out the slip and slide? Yeah, I forgot about that. It's been a while. Hollywood, Heisman Bus, Gary Beeben, okay, Desmond Howard, not a quarterback, and RG3. Are those the only three? I'm trying to remember. I mean, they drafted Ernie Davis, who was a Heisman Trophy winner, right? But then traded him for Bobby Mitchell. But technically, they drafted him. It was the first pick on it. Steve, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Loved Alvin Walton. Boy, that's a name from way back. The guy really knocked the snot out of people. Okay. I kind of remember that. I didn't really talk to him too much. I was a punk kid. I was afraid he knocked the snot out of me. I was in my 20s when Alvin was around here, I think, or early 30s. I forget. I once was young, had hair. Was that young pipsqueak in the locker room. Haven't always been the old man, which now I'm the longest running sports writer in DC, at least for a little while. So made it to everybody that was here when I came, they're gone. But we all fade into the wind. So thank you there. Alex, how would great returners like B. Mitch have done with the new rule? B. Mitch would be good. I think better than Hester, because Hester was more of a speed guy. B. Mitch was more of a bruising runner. And that's what you're going to need in this new kickoff is you're going to need running backs used to running in tight coverage versus Hester, who could get some speed up, make one move and be down the field. Not going to be able to do that as much. So I think B. Mitch would have benefited more. Hollywood. Let's see. Why is it not showing me? Something to do with a Jayhawk, but I can't see what it is. Greg, you think any Commanders HQ before new stadium? No, because Josh Harris said that the two are going to be tied. It could be tied together. Put it that way. He did say that the other day that they're not going to decide on a practice facility until they know whether or not it's part of a deal of a new stadium and a new venue. Say Maryland, maybe they have to go to Maryland as part of the deal, or DC. I don't know where you put it in DC, but okay. Or because there's taxes and all there. They're trying. If I'm a state of Maryland, I'm giving you all this money. I want you to move your team over so I get payroll tax. It's one way to get some of this because ticket taxes don't add up that much, but payroll taxes will help. Matt, I don't know why my Venmo would not come up. Let me put it here real quick. Just so you know, there's There's my Venmo. Here's my PayPal. As long as we're doing this. There you go. There is the Venmo and PayPal's. So whatever totals I told you there, you can send them. I do appreciate you buying. I have a box sitting here, Rex. I need to get rid of this box so I can have my couch back. Um, so let's see. Go there. Yeah, see, there's the box right there. So we're off the rails on this show tonight. Okay, Matt. Alex says Harris says he thinks the stadium vote will happen in a lame duck period. Didn't say that. He said it could happen. That's what they're hoping happens. But he said I don't predict the Senate. Good for you, because nobody predicts the Senate. And just think, I don't know how the elections are going to go and which side's going to get the Senate for the next session. I know it's going to be close. I've read the stuff. It's close. Even in Maryland, we've been a Democratic state here for years, but Hogan may get it as a Republican because the Democrats like Hogan was governor here. So if it flips, and let's just say the Senate is Republican control, maybe they have a different opinion about this whole stadium thing. Nobody's ever said anything, but so they may say, well, come January, we have control of it. Let's hold off. Let's try and keep it from being moved. They stalled a lot of stuff. So, and Maryland would try and also stall any vote for DC and getting RFK because Maryland wants to frustrate them into staying in Maryland. So they can do that too. So, and they got a lot going on. They don't like to do fights about bills unless they're important. And that's this kind of thing. So, oh, thanks, Matt. Glad to see it's working. Don't send it to the guy with a Y in his name. That happens. There's a Rick Snider with a Y, and people have Venmoed him money, and I don't know whatever happens on that. I think you get it back. I haven't accidentally got any of his money on there. All right, we got 15 minutes left in the show. Wow, going quick. So I want to try and watch the 1% at 9. Okay, so Matt, it did come up. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I haven't read it all, but I just saw it was there. So I'll mail it for you tomorrow. See, mail it. That's how customer service works. I try to treat customers with books and all like I want someone to do me. So tomorrow it'll be in the mail. So, and it's just extra books here. We're just making a few bucks off them. Yankoff expectations. Yeah, well, we got to that one, huh, Alex? It was a surprise. Although I'll say this about Yankoff. I noticed him a lot in the camps. I see a play and look up and go, who is that? Yankoff. I saw it a lot. So when he made a team, it wasn't a total surprise for me because if I'm seeing him a lot, coaches are seeing him a lot. So I wasn't a total surprise because I just thought because he had, they like guys working hard like this. It's cheap, that kind of stuff. So that's was there. Yeah, Matt, it is a rush. It needs to get to you. It's quick. Why would I sit on it? That's what I tell people. We don't sit on books. We mail them out for people. Now how fast our post office works, we'll see. Post office lost a couple earlier this year to people, and I had to replace them. It happens. In fact, let me give you a great post office story with my books. Years ago, I had a different book, and we had to move a lot of cartons from Austin, Texas, my 800 warehouse that I had back then. This is 30 years ago, and we moved them to Maryland. And a couple boxes didn't come, and you're just like, I don't know where they are. 2 years later, I get a call from the post office in Texas. It said, hey, man, we were clearing out our warehouse and we found 2 of your boxes of books and they're crushed and there's not much left of them, but do you want them? Oh, yeah, send those over right now. So, they probably just left mail unattended for so long. And somebody came in there and yelled to clean up this place and they found my books. That's kind of crap. I had boxes of books once in a FedEx truck in Richmond that crashed and burned. My books burned with them. Didn't have insurance so much on that kind of stuff. Just stuff happens when you're in business. It's the craziest thing. Let's see. Alex, surprising, weren't aggressively claiming corners. Well, you got to teach a system. Is this guy so much better than what you have that you can risk just bringing them in and playing them? I guess they decided not. Plus, if you claim somebody off waivers, you have to live with their contract. Now, most of them are not big deals, but you can sign a guy to a 1-year show me deal, not on waivers. Pass through waivers. Now he's a free agent. You can say, "Hey, man, yeah, I know you were supposed to be making this, but this is what my offer is, and I don't see anybody else around here. So you can take this 1 year show me deal and do better, invest in yourself, or go down the road." That's what you do instead of picking a guy up off waivers. You're screwing a guy, yeah, yeah, but that's not Washington's problem. You know, I've been on the wrong end of that deal, so don't think I'm a heartless bastard because I've been on the wrong end of it. Let's see, Gregory. I don't know what Washington going to Maryland that might rub Ravens fans. Well, I don't care. You're here first. Um, don't think they already hate their own land over anyway. Yeah, but Washington's been here forever. The Ravens have not. Well, the Ravens have been around how long now? Almost 20 years. I covered when they first came over too. Um, I mean, the Colts and the Redskins were. Well, I mean, the Colts got all the way down to say Bowie. They had what they call Colt corrals, which were fan clubs, and today it'd be like a bar that shows the game on Sundays, and everybody goes to that bar. But Bowie is not that far from, say, where FedEx is, 10, 15 miles maybe. So they've always kind of lived in the same area and fought over fans. Um, but Washington really was. Baltimore is where the dividing line is, usually on Ravens and Commanders fans. Okay, Alex, what happens with the Trent Williams situation? Oh, Trent will show up eventually, but he has stuck to his guns here. I think Trent is playing well later into his career because basically he got over a year off between the holdout and all that, and got his body back in shape because he was one sore bag of bones whenever he played here. You Jerry, favorite editor? There's no such thing as a favorite editor. And sports writer you work with over your career. I did have one favorite editor, I guess. Gary Hopkins was his name. Lives in Las Vegas now, retired, and I may see him. I'm going to be in Vegas in a couple weeks. And the last thing I'll do is this show on that Monday before we catch the plane Tuesday. But so Gary was a great guy. And favorite sports writer, there's been a lot of them, that I've worked with over the years on it. So, I mean, it's just too many to name on there, but great question. Could I say Marty Herney? Because Marty and I were not partners, but we worked together at the Washington Times, and Marty taught me a lot. Now you guys know him as the evil draft guy, but I knew Marty when we were both young sports writers. Alex, going from Trent to a much younger player, what about Jamar Chase continuing to hold out? Yeah, that's been something too. And maybe he signs this week because you've seen a couple big receiver contracts happen. So they usually start now falling in line. Hickory, let's see. We pedo enough players at Dorn Snider, Eric True, bad karma. But you might start doing decent building up a good rep. Well, I don't think you overpay to kind of get that thing out. Everybody understands Dan Snyder's gone now. Most of these young players don't really know what happened all that time anyway. It's what's the best deal. That's what free agents really do. When a guy becomes a free agent at the end of the season, a reporter will say, "So, man, are you going to resign here?" And they'll go, "I'd love to resign here. I love this place. I love, but what? Oh, you mean that guy down the street's going to pay me $1 more? Oh, hey, Washington, it was great, but I got to go get another $1." That's how that works, in real life. Every time. Nobody settles for less money. So it's always money talks and BS walks. Where's my cord? Where are you going, cord? Well, I don't know. Here it is. Let me get a power cord in here so get my laptop back up. Okay. So don't believe anything people say. It's always about money. Everything about life is money. Everything. I hate to say that, but it's true. Humble is going to go to the first home game this year. Any suggestions to make sure it's as enjoyable as possible? Root for the other team. They seem to win more. Make sure you're on behind the Redskin bench side. Don't take the visiting side. People don't always know that, but you want to make sure you're behind the Redskins bench. Bring your credit card because they don't take cash anymore there. So that's a big part of it. And reach out to me that week before you come, whatever week it is. Terry being 30 next season. Wow, is Terry going to be 30 next season? All right. Is wide receiver a priority? Yes, I would say wide receiver and offensive tackle, most likely, will be their top two priorities in free agency and the draft next year. Vegas, Jim, yeah. Yeah, I haven't figured out my itinerary over at Vegas, Jim. I don't tend to do the strip as much as I do. I'm going to go to the Valley of Fire. Never been there. I'm going to go see Red Rock again. Going down to Boulder to see the dam and see a friend. Not a damn friend. And so, I mean, we'll be on the strip there. We're going to see the Eagles in the Sphere. That's going to be one of the big deals. But just playing, we got casinos here if I want to go do that stuff. So my wife was born in Vegas as an Air Force brat. So it's always a little bit of fun for her to go back and see it too. Gregory, you see practice, and you don't. That's right. Are we running similar to Dallas's offense? Nah, I wouldn't say that. A good Glenn Brenner story, Robert. Well, Robert, you see Glenn Brenner story.